Hey, yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video. I know it's been quite a while. It's been about a month almost since I put a video up. I kind of feel bad about that, but I have good reason to do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go into where I've been and what I've been doing, and then also we have a lot to talk about because there's a lot of things I want to go over with you. Some ideas I want to spitball to you guys, and some changes I'm going to be doing to the channel. As well as I kind of want to go into how things went with me at Boston Comic-Con because that happened last month, so definitely want to talk about that. But first and foremost, the reason why I haven't been on YouTube the past month is a twofold reason. Number one is my in-laws took my wife, my son, and I to Europe. It was kind of a gift, like a surprise gift trip, in which they paid for everything except for souvenirs, and we got to go to Italy. So we went to Florence, and we went to Pisa, and then we went up the Italian Riviera to the French Riviera, and we were in France, and we got to go to Nice. So we got to do that. Really good trip. Really fun. Really enjoyable. I can go into that a little bit more detail later. And the second reason is my computer's still on the fritz when it comes down to a webcam, which we'll go into a bit later. So as you can see, I'm using the webcam, but as you can't see, I'm using my wife's camera. Not camera. Computer. So had some technical difficulties, plus I was gone for 2 weeks. So there you go. With that said, I have a ridiculous amount of comics I need to catch up on. It's absurd how that builds up. Leave for 2 weeks, it's impossible to get back on track within a week. But I've been reading, and I've been enjoying, and I've been liking, and Rebirth has been doing a good job. I don't know what I like better, New 52 or Rebirth. I think each one kind of satisfies different characters better. But, I mean, I can get into that, again, a little later. Another discussion for another time. So, there's a couple things I want to go into. And I guess I will go into the changes I'm going to make to my channel. Kind of spitball some ideas to you guys. And then my experiences at Boston Comic-Con. Tell you guys exactly what went down. And we'll kind of go from there. Shall we? So, I'm going to preface this by starting off and saying that the reason why I do YouTube videos is mainly for fun. Plain, flat, and simple. I don't do it for really any other reason. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy having this brother-sister camaraderie between us comic book brothers and sisters. So that's really kind of the reason why I do it. I have a well-paying job. I just recently got promoted. Enough that I can support my family on my own. My wife does not have to work at the moment, so I've been very fortunate, and I think that's a very big word that I have to say, is life has thrown me a lot of things, and I've been able to maneuver that correctly, and I've been fortunate with the outcomes that have come from it. So, I guess that's one big thing that you always have to think about is with life. There's so many things that could go wrong. There's so many places you could be that would be so much worse than you're at. And, with what you got, you got to be grateful. And I'm very grateful with what I got. Knock on Batman comic. I hope everything continues to go as great as it has been. But, like I said, I don't do videos for any other reason than for fun. But I have realized the past few years my videos have changed. They've become less organized. They've become less consistent. And I feel as though I haven't been able to put forth the best I can put forth, for lack of a better term. Now, there's many reasons for that. The inconsistency of putting them up is really just because I work a lot. And so that you guys know, I work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I'm actually I'm at the flagship location for my region and area. So I'm at one of, if not the biggest location other than the airports. It's a really great position. If I could equate it to anything, I'm Captain Jean-Luc Picard on the Enterprise. No pun intended. And it's a lot of work, but the results you bring in is great. If you're in college right now and you're looking for a job, go to enterprise. Like, you get promoted quickly, you make a lot of money. The only real issue is, like, you work a lot of hours, but it's really what you put into the job is what you get back. And I think that's something that you should always think about any job you go into. So I do work a lot of hours at the job that I go to, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't get to put out as much content as I would like to, which is understandable. It's work. I have to support my family. I have a career I have to focus on. The key word is career, not job, career. I'm very committed to my job. I've been very successful at it thus far, and I continue to hope to continue that career path that I've kind of laid out. So obviously that's going to come first because I have to feed my child. I have to feed my wife. I have to make sure there's a roof and clothes and electricity and heat and water. But again, that's the main reason why I have been unable to kind of put videos out on time. In addition to that, I think it also, with how I've been reading comics and how I've been doing things, and really a lot of stuff with the computers, me having a crappy computer, having a crappy webcam, I haven't been able to put out as quality content, for lack of a better term. And what I mean quality content is, like, I just kind of wing it. I'm not going to lie. Like, back in the day, I used to really think things through. I used to do things like I would drive in the car and kind of do mock reviews while driving the car alone, because then I can kind of talk to myself, see how I feel and see what I say, and then I would try to deliver you guys that review. So I'm trying to consolidate in my head, because I want to get back to doing these videos, and I want to go back to doing them consistently and have a format and have everything go well, because I don't think doing the comic load videos the way I've been doing them has been as successful, at least not on my part. So I thought of different things that I could do. So what I decided to do is I'm going to create a format for my channel, and I'm also happen to create a Patreon account. Now, if you don't know what a Patreon account is, allow me to explain. And the link to my Patreon is down on the bottom, right down there. Probably has no one financing it yet, but Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter in a weird way, but very much different. Now, with Kickstarter, someone sets up a project like, I'm going to make this movie, or I'm going to make this album, or this video game, or whatever product or project they're focusing on, and you donate money accordingly to reach a goal. And once they reach that goal, then they promise to release that product. Patreon is different, because what it does is a person who does music, maybe a web series, maybe podcast, maybe as an artist or something like that, releases their content, and what you do is you donate to them on a monthly basis. And that donation doesn't have to be huge. It can be as low as $1 a month to that person, and what they do is they promise in return to you financing them to a degree that they will give you special incentives. So, for example, let's just say you're an artist, and you make it so that if someone donates $1, then they get to see your content a week early. If they donate $5, you'll draw them a picture as a thank you. If it's $20, like once a month, you'll draw them a picture as a thank you. I don't know. That's just random things that I'm making up. But there's different kind of tiers of things that you can do to help support, and I think support is the right word, the patron. So what I've decided is to set up a Patreon account so that I can try to improve my content and try to improve the equipment I have, and maybe try to improve everything for you guys. Now, I want to start by saying one thing, and I want everyone to listen. This is important. Ready? Whether I get $1 or no money or a ton of money as donations to me to support my channel, does not change the fact that all content I release is 100% free. I'm not charging anyone to watch my videos. You do not have to donate me jack shit. And you will be able to get me rambling on and on about how Batman is the most badass mofo in the world. Plain, flat, and simple. The reason why I'm doing the Patreon is mainly more than anything is because I want to bring in new content, and I want to bring in better equipment. So, for example, I want to get back into doing graphic novel reviews, but I don't always have the extra money to get the graphic novels consistently. I can get one here and there, but I'm talking consistently. So doing the Patreon account, if I get enough money in, I can do more graphic novel reviews. But I'm going to get into that a little bit more when I talk about the changing of the channel. Equipment, camera. God, I can't tell you how many times people have asked me to get a better camera. So, I mean, after a while, if I get enough support, I can get maybe a better computer, better laptop, better camera, maybe better equipment, maybe a microphone. Who knows? Maybe you can see this in HD. I don't know why you would want to. We all know you would want to see this in HD because it's Batman. But that's the basic gist of it. So I'm kind of playing around with the Patreon account. I put it on a lot of my videos, but I haven't said anything about it because I just don't know how. I mean, this is like a really awkward thing to say. Give me money and I'll give you stuff. Like, it sounds kind of, I don't know, weird. So it's something that I'm still kind of getting used to the concept of. I don't need money to support and live. And that's something I wanted to establish. My career has been very beneficial for me, and I can live the lifestyle I do with my wife and my child, and grow our family and go on trips and make sure we're saving up and everything. That's fine. But all my money from work is going to go towards that. I don't need this to support my family. I don't need it to grow my house or to do anything. Everything you donate will go 100% to the content. To Batman. To Superman. To Wonder Woman. Captain America. Doesn't matter. All that content will go in there. Okay? So, again, you do not have to donate anything at all. However, anything you do donate, any support you give, and it can be as simple as $1, will go towards this channel and me being a better reviewer. Okay? So, kind of get that out of the way. For all those who do not decide to support, thank you. And for those that do not support, thank you anyways. Like, again, it's not necessary. I just figured I put this down here so I can make things better, so that I can rebuild and make better my channel. Like, think of us as like the freaking Enterprise A. Refit Enterprise A. Like, everything's been Gucci, but Khan just beat the shit out of me. And a couple Klingons have gone after me. I want to make this channel turn into the Enterprise E. Sovereign class, quantum torpedoes, phaser banks ready to go, and hollow suites for your pleasure. Yeah, I know that's a reference mostly just Star Trek people get, but I've been on a huge Star Trek kick lately. Just been cruising through DS9. So with that said, let's talk about the changes that are going to be done to my channel. You know what one of my favorite quotes from Game of Thrones is when Tommen would go, "The faith and the crown are the twin pillars of the kingdom." It's silly, but it's kind of a cool quote because he said it like a bunch of times, and I used to use it at work and to slam it down and be like, yo, I would go to my wife and be like, "The mother and the father are the twin pillars of the baby." Just silly, stupid stuff. But I was thinking, like, pillars are supposed to hold things up. It's structure. And what's important in a channel is structure. So I've decided to structure my channels and have 3 pillars. 3 pillars of different videos in which I will bring to you guys. And I want your feedback on what you think about this. So, the first pillar is going to be graphic novels. I'm going to get back to reviewing graphic novels on a more regular basis. Yes, I have stopped picking up graphic novels because I get the individual issues, so, I mean, why buy something twice? Well, there's a very good reason. One, then I don't have to tear open these things to read the comics again. I can read the stories whenever I want. And 2, I can do my graphic novel reviews. And to be honest, I like my graphic novel reviews. I think I do a good job at thinking things out and vernacularly delivering you guys my thought process. But more importantly, I know more and more people don't read the individual issues. Like a lot of casual comic book fans or new comic book fans go into the graphic novels. It's an easier way to pick up a story. You don't have to hunt for issues, and jumping on points is super, super easy. Like, if you want to get into New 52 Batman, like, you're going to have to go backtrack. You're going to have to go and find the issues or get them on the apps or whatever. Whereas with graphic novels, you just pick that shit up and you're good to go. And you can do it at more of a leisure. I realize that. And personally, I want to say I'm sorry to you guys, because for the viewers who have viewed my channel, I kind of turned my back on that section because it was more convenient for me. That was kind of wrong. At least to a degree. I mean, it's my life. I can't be dropping money on graphic novels like crazy, but at the same time, I have a little bit more leeway now, so I want to get back into the graphic novel reviews. At least for now, until maybe I get things rolling a bit more, maybe I have more finances to work with, I'm just going to be focusing on Batman and Batman-related stuff with the graphic novels. And the Earth 1 stuff. Like, I have here Teen Titans Earth 1 Volume 2. I haven't dug into it yet, but eventually I'm going to read that and review that. And I guess Wonder Woman and possibly Justice League. But it's mainly going to be Batman stuff, because that's the stuff I want to add to my collection. With that said, that goes back into the Patreon. If I receive enough money from the Patreon, I will be able to expand my horizons on graphic novels I'm going to review, and maybe dip into a lot more other content that other people read. Like, it's no secret that I'm mainly a DC person. I mean, look at the toys in the background. It's freaking ridiculous. But that's just the case. Like, I read DC. I rarely go into Marvel, and when I do, it's very selective stuff. But, I mean, hey, if I get the leeway and the wiggle room when it comes down to the Patreon account, yeah, I'll start reading more Marvel stuff. I'll do the classics. I will pull out that One More Day kind of stuff, or maybe I'll do that Mutant Genesis, or that Dark Phoenix saga, or the time that Wolverine and Cyclops kind of got a little too personal, and oh wait, that never happened. Okay, well, the fact of the matter remains is I will diversify my selection if things go well. So that's pillar number one. I'm going to go back into my graphic novel reviews, telling you the good, the bad, the whether I should get it, and a detailed, non-spoiler summary of the comic. Sounds cool? Second pillar that I'm going to introduce is a segment that I'm going to call Getting to Know. Now, I realize that comic books are intimidating, and often, sometimes people don't know where to start. What I would like to do is bring a segment where I will introduce you to characters and basically allow you to get to know them. So, for example, let's just take, I don't know, Aquaman, okay? Let's just say you watch Batman v Superman and you're like, yes, Jason Momoa, Khal Drogo, Stargate, Baywatch, I want to read Aquaman right there. And you just have that inkling, that tickle that you want to read Aquaman, but you don't know where to start, and you don't really know anything about the comic book character. Well, I will sit down and I do a session, and this session is basically going to be me talking about the character, basic history of it, without going into too much detail, basic history of the character. I will talk about their powers and abilities. I will talk to you about why you should read them, not just like, yo, Nightwing, our boy, he is badass, read him. No, I'm going to be like, listen, this is why I love Nightwing. Like, this character does this for me, and it helped me through this time, and maybe you can relate to it because Nightwing is a relatable character on this level. I'm not going to go in detail, but I will tell you why you should read this character. And finally, I'm going to give you suggestions for reading this character. So maybe I'll be like, hey, okay, so you want to read Aquaman. Well, this is, I recommend Time by Tide, and then the New 52 Aquaman run. Get this specific story and this specific story, and then if you get a chance, jump on with the Rebirth Aquaman. And then if you really want to get a little salty, watch this. So it's not going to just be comic stuff. It's going to be like, watch Throne of Atlantis for the DVD. If you like that, read the comic for Justice League. dig deep into it. So I want to do basically tell you about the character, tell you why you should read the character, and then finally I'm going to tell you what content to pick up. Now, I think it would be fun if we did this theme-based and allow you guys to pick what I'll do. So maybe I'll be like, I'll give you, let's do 3 Teen Titans. I'll be like, Starfire, Cyborg, and Arsenal. From those 3, you guys can pick which one I will do the video on. Or maybe I'll be like, hey, let's talk about 3 Batmans that aren't Bruce Wayne. Dick Grayson, Azrael, Commissioner Gordon. Or maybe I'll do a theme like, let's do Batgirls, Barbara Gordon, Cassandra Cain, Stephanie Brown. Do a theme like that. So, first theme I'm going to do for getting to know, and I want you to vote down here on who you want. The theme is going to be getting to know a Robin. So, the choices are going to be 3 choices. It's going to be Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, or Tim Drake. So you guys can select down below. It will, whichever one you want me to do, I will sit down, and next week I will put out a video. Got a little southern there. I'll put out a video getting to know that character. And that will give you guys an opportunity who maybe are on the fence about a character, be like, yo, I really don't want to read him after you talked about him. It's not what I was looking for. Or you might be like, yes! That's what I've been looking for my whole life. Whatever the case may be, I want to do that. So we're going to do getting to know Robin, and then I'm thinking about doing getting to know Green Lantern afterwards, and getting to know Justice Leaguer. And I want to kind of focus on the B-list and down below characters. But if you really want it, I'll do Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I'll do the big names, but I kind of want to focus on characters that not everyone gravitates to because they're characters you may not know. So that will be the second pillar of the kingdom. Last pillar is going to be basically my comic book reviews for my comic loads. Now, it's going to be the same format that I've been doing, which is basically going to be me talking about the weekly comics, going in detail about them, and then doing questions and answers and any updates. Now, I find that I do better with my comic load video when I'm not doing it every week. And I will try to do it every week if I can, but I won't be able to do it just yet because I need to catch up on comics. I don't want to skip too far ahead. So I want to say I'll get back into doing the comic load videos in maybe next month when I get finally caught up with my videos. So, in addition to that, if the support comes in with Patreon, right now all I'm reading is Captain America. Maybe when Marvel puts something out more that I want, I'll start reading it, and maybe I'll incorporate more Marvel, more Image, more Dark Horse, more IDW, and bring more of that shit in. So, there you go. So those are the 3 pillars. There's going to be graphic novel reviews, comic load reviews, and getting to know a character. So, you guys can pick. I will allow you guys to vote up until Tuesday, because I need to formulate and put this shit together. So I'm going to give you roughly 2 or 3 days to kind of throw your votes out, and whoever gets the most votes will win. So remember, it's going to be Dick Grayson, Nightwing, the first Robin, Jason Todd, Red Hood, the second Robin, or Timothy Drake, Red Robin, the third Robin. So there you go. That's going to be the new format. I want to see what you guys think about that. Feedback down below. Let me know, because I'm always up for tweaking things that people want to. Last thing is, I get a ton of requests for the timeline videos, and I'm trying to piece together a new Batman timeline. It's not perfect, and it's not going to be out for a while. So I'm going to start by saying off that I'm working on it, but it's going to be a while, because New 52 kind of throws everything in a tailspin. Rebirth throws everything into a tailspin, so I don't even know where I stand with that. So I got to figure out the continuity, and I got to really dig deep and figure out. It might have to be more an explanational video than anything. So yeah, that's a basic gist of what's going on with the channel and what's going on with my videos. Let's talk about Boston Comic Con, shall we? So Boston Comic Con happened last month, And Boston Comic Con is like the twin pillars of my conventions. Like the two cons I always go to are Boston Comic Con, which has been the longest running con I have near and dear to my heart, and Rhode Island Comic Con. And Boston and Rhode Island kind of balance themselves out really good. Like Boston focuses on comic book artists and comic book writers, where Rhode Island, focuses on celebrity guests and stuff like that. So I'll go to Boston to meet the Scott Snyders, the Jim Lees, the Jeff Johns, the George Perez's, and then I'll go to Rhode Island to meet the Austin St. Johns, the Ric Flairs, the Kevin Conroys, kind of the more the stars than anything. But I've always enjoyed Boston Comic Con, and I decided to do 2 days this year. Usually I do 1 day, but now that I have a son, I kind of lamented to my wife, it'd probably be smarter if I went alone on Friday, kind of get as much as I can done, and then on Saturday I'll go with you and him, and then we can kind of just mosey around. And it was the best idea I could have done, because I got pretty much everything I wanted done on Friday, and then on Saturday we just kind of went for her because Ben McKenzie was there and she wanted to meet him. Not because of Gotham, but because of the OC. My wife loves the OC. So I'll get into what I got signed. I'll get into some extra stuff, and then a cool experience I had there. So first of all, I brought a couple of comics. The only people I really didn't get to meet that I wanted to was Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti. I wanted to meet them again. I met them twice so far. I wanted to meet them for a third time, but every time I went to the line, it was just way too bodacious to go into. So I decided to hold off on that. But Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo were there, and they weren't on my list of things to get because I had nothing to sign by them. But then I forgot because I was so busy with work, I didn't get my comic load, so All-Star Batman came out. So this was actually midway through the convention. I went up to their line, and they weren't coming till like 4 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock I went there, not knowing they weren't going to make it till 4, and the woman's like, yeah, they're not coming till 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh, well, I have nothing to do. I'll just chill here. So I just sat my ass down, and I started, what was I doing? I forget what I did. I think I read All-Star Batman, and then I did something else. I played Clash of Clans for an hour, which is tough with Clash of Clans, but no more Pokemon Go for me. I'm off that shit. That's addictive. That's like heroin. But I kind of waited, and I was the first in line. It's a good thing I did that because they cut that line off like 20 minutes later, and it was humongous. And I got All-Star Batman issue number 1 signed by Scott Snyder. I wanted to get the Jock cover, but I was a little too late, but still, I'm glad I got this signed. That was like a little surprise highlight for me for the con. And I didn't have any comic from Greg Capullo, but his wife was giving away printouts, and he would sign those. So I got the issue number 27 one that he did, and I had him sign at the bottom. It's kind of a nice printout. And I don't know, I think it's the most, I don't want to say generic, it's more iconic than any other printouts he was giving. But it looks pretty cool, so I'm going to hang this up eventually. I don't know where. Maybe off in the corner. But Scott and Greg were nice again. These guys are super nice. They were kind of talking business when I was down there too, so that was interesting. They're like, but Jeff is so busy, I can't approve this project till I talk to Jeff. But he's always all over the place, and it's kind of funny to hear them talk. But it was kind of cool to see them again, because this is the third time I got to meet Scott Snyder. Was it the third time I got to meet? Maybe the third time I got to meet Scott Snyder. The second time I got to meet Greg Capullo. So that was really cool. I think the number one thing I want to do is I wanted to find Cliff Chiang, and I was able to find him. And I finally got both the artist and writer on Wonder Woman New 52 issue number 1. So I was really pumped about this. He was hard to find because he's not advertised that well. But I'm really pumped about this. So he was wicked nice also. And then pull it out. The first person I got was Jay Lee. If you don't know Jay Lee, he did art like on the Batman Superman comic, so I got his signature there. Hopefully I can get Greg Pak to join in on the signing. And then I had him sign the Ozymandias miniseries, which was my favorite of the Before Watchmen miniseries, so that was pretty cool. Then the last two people I got to meet were Tim Seeley. So he was there, and I got to have him sign Rebirth, Nightwing, and then Nightwing in issue number 1. And he was also a really nice guy. I kind of said to him, like, hey, I like the story arc you're doing. I like Raptor. I think he's a cool guy. He's like, wait till issue number 5. I'm like, oh. So that was really cool. And the final issue I got signed is I got Marv Wolfman was there. So I lucked out and I got Marv Wolfman to sign the new Teen Titans issue number 1. So I got a signature from both Marv Wolfman and George Perez on that, which is pretty cool. Very quiet man, but we got to talk about stuff for a bit. So that was really cool. I got to meet an artist that I've met a couple times, Karen Gosselin. She's she's not a big comic book artist, but she does art, and she kind of had her own kiosk there. And I've met her at least twice before. And what I like to do is I like to go to cons and get people to do commissions of my D&D characters, because I draw my D&D characters, but I like to see how other people interpret them on their own. So I have them draw my D&D characters, and she's done one of my main character Angelus and his wife, a picture of her, Lacey, and every time I've gone to her, art is just really cool. So I asked her, hey, I saw her again, I'm like, listen, will you be able to do a picture of them together, like in some kind of romantic way, because they are married and I'm a hopeless romantic? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So she drew this awesome picture of Lacey and Angelus. Let me see which is really cool. I know this camera is not the best for it, but it's a really nice drawing. I like it. There we go. So I got that. And then finally there was some guy that was had these really cool prints. So they had some Pokemon ones. This is pretty freaking cool. Charmander and Charizard split view. Mew and Mewtwo. So I had to get this. Mew's my second favorite Pokemon. Charizard's my favorite. And look at this. The whole family has come to town. How cool is that? That is pretty freaking awesome. So I haven't hung these up yet. I don't know where I'm going to put them. But I really I especially like that one. Look how fucking cute Charmander is. Charm. Oh, and look how badass Charizard is. He's ready to screw someone up. He's ready to go Chipotle on someone. So that's basically what I got at the con. I got to luck out, and I won't go into too much detail because I don't know how much they want me to talk about. But one of you guys were there, so I got to meet one of you guys, and we got to talk for a while. And some really nice words were exchanged, and then we went to go get lunch and talk comics for an hour, and it was fucking awesome. And now I have a new friend. I don't want to say his name or point him out because that's not my right. So if you want me to, dude, I will. But it's really cool when I actually get to meet one of you guys, and a friendship is kind of made off that connection. So that was really cool, and I'm really happy that got to happen. So probably the highlight of the con for me. Really awesome. So that was Boston, and the next one is Rhode Island. I don't think there's anything in between. Well, there's some mega fest thingy in Marlboro that I might go to, but it was a good time. Boston, one of the better Boston Comic Cons, really good. Yeah, and that's about all I had to say. It's been a crazy time. So let me know what you think about the suggestions I put forth to you guys, and we'll go from there. Thank you again for your support and your patience with everything, and you guys rock. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.